regular board meeting for the Socorro Independent School District Board of Trustees will be now called to order. It is 6:01. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Marcos Modesto, third grader at Desert Wind School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Well, there he is. Let's go to item number 3, superintendent's comments.
Yes, President Gandara and members of the board, I would like to wish a very happy birthday to trustee Mr. Hector Gonzalez, whose birthday was on August 2nd, and trustee Mr. Michael Nájera, whose special day was on August 15th. These two young men are a year wiser this month. Best wishes to both of you from Team SISD.
I thank you very much for that compliment. I'm just an old lion.
Oh, there you go, there you go. Happy birthday. We have many members of Team SISD who are with us today, and I'd like to welcome many of them to their new positions in our school district. So when I call your name, please stand to be recognized. First of all, we have Mr. Mario Carmona, who's our new Director of Employee Benefits. Where are you at? Congratulations. Miss Alicia Miranda, new Assistant Principal at Vista del Sol. Oh, Miss Miranda's got a cheering section, all right. Miss Nadia de la Rosa, who returns to SISD as our new Principal of Socorro Middle School. Miss Rosie Vega, who is now our new principal at Sanchez Middle School. We have new assistant principal at America's High School, Miss Deanna White. I'm sorry, Paso del Norte. She used to be at America's High School. She's the new assistant principal at Paso del Norte. Congratulations. And we have Mr. Juan Gonzalez and Mrs. Claudia Carabeo, new assistant principals at Socorro High School. We have Mr. Alfredo Gomez, new assistant principal at Eastlake High School. Mr. David Herrera, new assistant principal at Pebble Hills High School. Our new career and technology education facilitator is Mr. Orlando Hairston. Ms. Lourdes Correa is our new coordinator of advanced academics. We're almost done. One more. Ms. Karina Munoz is our new licensed specialist in school psychology. And again, I'm very confident in these superstars who will have a great impact on the students in their community. So congratulations to everyone who's been introduced. Thank you very much. All right, upcoming events include, we have our summer school graduation, which will be held at Eastlake High School tomorrow at 5:30. And also, we have our Region 19 Teacher of the Year Gala that will take place this Saturday night at the Plaza Theater. And it is an honor to join. I know several trustees will be there. I will be there to join our 2016 SISD Elementary Teacher of the Year, Miss Erica Loya, and also our 2016 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Miss Diana Rios, at this memorable event. It will be memorable on Saturday. So we wish them the best as they compete for the Region 19 Teacher of the Year awards. And President Gandara, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to item number 4, board honors. Daniel Escobar.
Good evening, President Gandara, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Espinosa. My name is Daniel Escobar, Chief Communications Officer for the district, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's recognitions. If you'll all please step down to receive our honorees. Our first recognition will honor Team SISD students, parents, and employees who captured great moments of the 2015-16 school year and won the 2016 Smile Team SISD Superintendent Photo Contest. More than 150 photos were submitted showing great scenes of students learning, participating in athletics, and having fun, memorable moments in SISD. The winning entries portrayed creativity, composition, and originality. Congratulations to these outstanding photographers. Our 2016 Superintendent Photo Contest winners are from Sunridge Middle School, Nelly Rivas. A teacher from Vista del Sol Elementary School, Kendra Chapman. And one of our Team SISD parents from Myrtle Cooper, Sandra Gutierrez. If we can have the three of you please return for a photo with our superintendent and board of trustees. Just a quick note that all of the photos taken by our district photographer will be posted on our district webpage. On the bottom right-hand corner, there is a photo icon to our SmugMug account. The photos are available for free high-resolution download. Hold on. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Awesome. Congratulations once again. Our second recognition is in honor of 8 SISD students who were selected as winners in the 10th annual Peter Piper Pizza Calendar Contest. The students were among 24 artists chosen for the 2016-17 calendar out of 3,000 entries from all Peter Piper Pizza markets in Texas and southern New Mexico. The young artists had their artwork featured in more than 50,000 copies of this year's calendar. Congratulations to this year's winners. They are from Pebble Hills High School, Anastasia McCants. From Sanchez Middle School, Paul Guerra. Also from Sanchez, Jacqueline Arellano. And the sponsor from Sanchez, Laura Sandoval. If we can have you all please return for a photo. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Congratulations once again. Next, we will recognize the El Dorado and Montwood High School robotics teams, who were 2 out of only 35 teams in Texas to earn an invitation to the first ever UIL State Robotics Championship competition, which was held in Austin. These students did a great job representing their schools as well as Team SISD at the state level. We'll begin with the El Dorado High School robotics team, who had a phenomenal year and won first place at UTEP's Paso del Norte Championship, advanced to regionals in Lubbock, and went on to be the only El Paso team to compete at the super regional competition. The Robo Aztecs also demonstrated their excellent programming abilities and creativity at state. Congratulations to these Robo Aztecs. They are Andres Marufo, Kevin Estrada Ruiz, Felipe Carlos, Mariana Sigala, David Huereca, Alexa Hernandez, Amanda Lauren Borgado, Anaí Cuvalier, Diego Sanchez, Brian Hernandez, Luis Duran, Candy Leiva, their sponsor and coach is Gerardo Sanchez. Students, if we can have you all join your coach here up front for a photo. Congratulations once again. Next, we will recognize the Montwood High School robotics team, who also did a great job at the state competition. The Mean Green Machine and the Rambotics were the recipients of 2 out of 13 Texas Robot Roundup Awards for team spirit and gracious professionalism. Congratulations on a job well done to these Rams. Yes. They are Eduardo Areola, Brian Sanchez, Daniel Solano, Emiliano Silva, Adrian Quiñones, Michael Jones, Rafael Ortega, Gabriela Gardea, Bethany Barragan, Patrice Manjares, Stephanie Galvan, Vianney Valle, Melanie Murillo, Isabela Pando, their sponsors and coaches are Jose Polanco, and Luis Pablo Ramirez. You're good right there. You're good right there. I was wrong. Keep smiling, looking straight. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Congratulations once again. Next, we have the honor of recognizing another Peter Piper contest art contest winner who's joining us from Salvador Sanchez, Eileen Rodriguez. It worked out. Couple more right behind you. Hold on, what? A couple more, couple more. Our next honor is for a fifth grade Sergeant Roberto Duarte Elementary School student whose incredible athletic abilities allowed him to compete at the 2016 National Junior Olympic Track and Field Championships. The 10-year-old track star had an impressive win at the Nationals and earned fourth place out of 86 contestants in the Turbo Javelin event. Congratulations to Mark Barajas. He's accompanied by his teacher, Lizeth Ortiz. Awesome, congratulations once again. Our next recognition will honor Eastlake High School students who won the 2016 Housing Authority of El Paso Art Contest. The talented students used their imagination and creativity to capture this year's contest theme, Changing the Face of Public Housing. Their artwork was displayed at the El Paso Public Main Library branch downtown in June. In addition, the winners were invited to a special reception, received a cash prize, and as well as local media coverage. Their work also was showcased at City Hall and featured in the Housing Authority's electronic newsletter. Congratulations to these outstanding student artists. They are Israel Modesto, and Hunter Kirtley. They're accompanied by their sponsor teacher, Claudia Castañeda. our final presentation, I'll ask that the board and Dr. Espinosa please have your seat. Our final recognition this evening is to honor an outstanding Team SISD individual who has been selected as the district's first ever Wall of Honor recipient. She is making a great contribution for the entire community through an innovative community project to collect trash and recyclables in the El Paso area and turn the waste into beautiful art. This project won her the ultimate prize in the National Barnes & Noble Get Going Day Community Project Contest and earned El Dorado High School a visit from former First Daughter Chelsea Clinton, who was involved in the contest with her motivational book, It's Your World, Get Informed, Get Inspired, and Get Going. This longtime educator also was selected as a 2011 SISD Teacher of the Year Elite 8 finalist and a 2016 semifinalist in the HEB Excellence in Education Awards program. She continues to ensure every child succeeds at El Dorado High School and throughout Team SISD. Before we bring her forward, we have a brief video to show highlights of our first ever Wall of Honor honoree.
My name is Candace Prince, and I'm an art teacher at El Dorado High School. I've been here for about 12 years, and the project really started off with an idea that my art club kids and I had done. We had talked about probably like 5 years back, and so we were noticing that there's a lot of new development that had been around our area, especially off of Montana. And we were noticing that a lot of trash and debris and plastic bags and stuff had been dumped or blown into the desert, and we thought, well, it just looks horrible, and they didn't like that, and I didn't like that, and that's not how we wanted our area to be represented or how we wanted our land or our wildlife to be treated. So we thought, why don't we be inspired by some of the sculptors in the world who have taken trash and turned it into art. And so we thought what grand scales we could do if we collected all this stuff, just made a giant trash sculpture and documented how many pieces we found, just so people could be like, wow, we didn't know that much stuff was out there, because if you don't know, you can't change it. I saw a brochure at Barnes & Noble's for teachers to submit a project idea that would help their community, and I thought, you know what, I really need to just stop thinking about this and do it. And so I applied, we got chosen, and it was just amazing because I thought, well, they are probably choosing multiple people throughout the US, only to find out we were the sole winner. From all of the United States, they chose our project in El Dorado High School in El Paso, Texas. And so because we won, the grand prize was Chelsea Clinton coming to our school. And so in April, she came and she heard the kids' idea in person and got to meet them and talk to them and meet the community and just really kickstart this event. I've always wanted to make a difference in the world, and so I didn't know what profession to go into. Was it social work or was it, conservation? And I feel like being a teacher, you can do all of it.
It's not just for her, it's for her kids, it's for the community, it's for the school. And so she brings it back to the kids. These honors and recognitions that she gets, you can see all the students, they revel in it with her because she takes them with her every step of the way.
These young kids are so strong, and they're more powerful than they realize because they really can make a difference. They can change. I mean, look at what's happening. They're changing their environment right now. They're changing their community, and they're doing it together, and it's fun, and they're making a difference. My name is Candace Prince. I'm an art teacher at El Dorado High School, and I'm so proud and grateful for being inducted into the Team SISD Wall of Honor.
So what we saw in the video was just a small portion of what Ms. Prince does with her students day in, day out. And in recognition of being the first ever Wall of Honor recipient, she will receive a framed portrait with a description of her project here, and a larger version of that will forever live in our new Wall of Honor, which is outside Conference Room C and D in front of where the superintendents of Team SISD are displayed. And that'll forever be up there in recognition of her contributions to Team SISD. So please help me congratulate and welcome Ms. Candace Prince. And to go a little bit off script, we'll ask Ms. Prince if she'd like just to say a couple words as being our first ever honoree.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having this award, because I know you know so many teachers work so hard every day, and just to be acknowledged, we really appreciate it. But all the work that everybody does, I mean, it's just amazing. All the teachers, all the students that have stepped forward for all these different projects. It's not just me. There's no way I could do this by myself. So the kids are really excited to be a part of this project. And so if you go to our website, if you'd like to volunteer or if you would like to donate or sponsor, we'd appreciate it. We do have monthly newsletters going out, so if you'd like to stay up to date with that, we are going to start our cleanups very soon. And hopefully Chelsea Clinton will be returning for the opening receptions as well. But thank you guys so much. This is such an honor. I'm just trying to hold it together right now, so I'm not going to cry, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Escobar. Let's go down to item number 6, open forum. We didn't have anyone that signed up, so item 7, public hearing, proposed 2016-17 tax rate. Mr. Reza.
Yes, sir. President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, tonight we are conducting a public hearing on the proposed tax rate to be adopted by the Socorro Independent School District for the fiscal year 2016-2017. This hearing is required by state law to allow the public an opportunity to provide feedback to the governing board on the tax rate that's to be adopted tonight. What happened? First, I would like to remind the audience of the budget that was adopted by the board back on June the 21st, 2016. For your review, this is the district's 2016-17 adopted budget. And as you can see, the board is required to adopt 3 separate budgets: the general fund budget, the child nutrition services budget, and the debt service budget. The total budget that was adopted by the board on that night was $425.6 million. The district's local revenues were based on projected taxable revenues of $8.4 billion. That's a 3.12% increase from last year's certified values. Our actual certified values that came in from the Central Appraisal District were $8.5 billion, which represents a 3.93% increase from last year. So this has a positive impact on our projected revenue tax collections to the tune of about $634,000. Now the district's total tax rate, hold on, let me just make sure about that. Okay. The district's total tax rate to discuss and approve tonight consists of 2 parts. First, the maintenance and operation tax rate, which is known as the M&O tax rate, goes to support the ongoing maintenance and operations of the district and is recorded in the general fund of the district. It is important to note that the governing board can approve a tax rate of up to $1.04 without voter approval, but any rate above that requires a ratification by the voters through a tax ratification election. This is sometimes known as a TRE. The highest tax rate that can be approved for maintenance and operations is $1.17. The second part of the total tax rate is the interest and sinking fund tax rate. This is also sometimes called the INS tax rate, and it goes to support the repayment of debt incurred to build schools and other capital projects approved by the voters through a bond election. It is recorded in the debt service fund. It is important to remember that when the Board of Trustees approves a tax rate, they are reaffirming a tax rate that has already been approved by the voters through a bond election. And the highest tax rate that can be approved for the interest and sinking fund is 50 cents. Now, the administration has published a notice of this public hearing tonight in the El Paso Times on Thursday, August the 4th. That notice listed the time and date of this hearing, as well as the intent to adopt the following tax rates. For maintenance and operation, a tax rate of 0.976140 per $100 of assessed valuation. For the interest and sinking fund, a tax rate of 0.298654 per $100 of assessed valuation, for a total tax rate of $1.274794. So there is no change from the prior year. After this public hearing, the governing board will consider approving the proposed tax rates as well as the resolution to assess this tax. So presented for the audience and the board is a historical timeline of the tax rates adopted by the board since 2009-10. As you can see, in fiscal year 2011-12, the district increased the interest and sinking fund tax rate to address the first sale of bonds from the 2011 bond election. In 2012 and 13, we again increased the INS tax rate to cover the remaining bond issuances, and the maintenance and operations tax rate was also increased to address the projected shortfall of state funding on that particular year. Finally, as you can see, the district has had the same tax rate for the last 4 years, and if the board approves the recommended tax rate for 2016-17, it will be 5 years in a row that the Socorro Independent School District has had the same tax rate of $1.27. Submitted for your information is a list of the proposed tax rates for the surrounding school districts and their projected increases and decreases. The governing boards of each representative school district may or may not approve the tax rate that are listed and being proposed. But as you can see, Socorro ISD has the lowest maintenance and operation tax rate of the region. And as published in the El Paso Times, presented is the tax impact on the average resident for the Socorro Independent School District. There is a minimum tax impact due to an increase in the average taxable value for residents that reside within the school district's boundaries. Also listed is the district's rollback rate. This is the highest rate that the Board of Trustees can approve without having to hold a tax ratification election. So this is our presentation for the public hearing. Does the board have any questions with respect to the information that's been submitted? So, President Gandara, the board now needs to solicit input from the community concerning the proposed tax rate.
This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this issue, please stand up to the podium and state your name. Please don't all rush. This public hearing is now closed.
Thank you very much, President Gandara. Thank you. That concludes our public hearing.
Let's go on to item 8, district reports, facilities report. Mr. Ianton.
Even when we raise taxes, nobody talks.
Good evening, President Gondra, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. My report begins on page 12. The three projects, the three middle school projects are essentially finished. We are doing punch list work at all of those schools and coordinating a final roof inspection at a couple of them. So you probably will not see this particular, these three jobs reported, but, and we'll be in the process of closing them out. So that's for Socorro, Sanchez, and Slider Middle School. The next project is the football field lighting and bleachers upgrade. Had the opportunity, I was meeting at America's High School this morning with the assistant principals and went out and saw America's High School project. This project is probably the one that's a little bit behind schedule. It's still within the timeline because we extended the contract because we had some issues with some retaining walls and we had some issues with the easement of the electrical service from El Paso Electric. But you can see that the work is continuing. These are probably about a week old. The home side bleachers are up. We are in the process of pouring some sidewalk in front of the visitors, and those bleachers will go up as soon as we pour that work. The next one is El Dorado, and I know you love these pictures because they show a lot. You can see that this is what we've been working with the city, the electrical department, getting service to our lighting poles and stuff. But their bleachers are up, the poles are up, and we're just making the tie-in. And then, of course, Montwood is basically complete, and you can see that you can see the visitor side and the home side bleachers. So that project has is 95% complete. The next project is our transportation facility, which is just behind us. We're adding that access road to allow for another in and out for the transportation, the buses and stuff. You can see that in the lower, my right-hand side is the actual tie-in to the existing parking, and the road will kind of bend and go out to Rojas. And then you can see in the other pictures that we're coming in there, redoing the sealant between the expansion and contraction of the on the existing parking lot to do some repairs there. The electronic video board is complete, and our facility assessment next Wednesday is a special meeting to kind of review some of the numbers and look at that project in a little bit more detail. So we'll do that next Wednesday. And I believe that completes my report. And I'll take any questions.
Mr. Strangton? Thank you, Mr. Strangton.
Thank you.
Let's go item B, grant reports. Ms. Sandarnell.
Good evening, President Candida, Dr. Espinosa, and members of the board. Tonight's update on our existing grants for both of our Department of Defense education activity grants. We submitted our quarterly reports. Those got completed. This last Saturday, we went to the military fair and let all the parents see what we're doing with our grants, which they really enjoyed. And the other thing that's happening is with the Project Speed grant for special needs children, we've started a book club at all of the schools that are involved in that. And our Army Youth Program, our after-school program, is beginning at those schools this week and next that will be starting up. And for our Texas Support of Homeless Education, they have been identifying those students that need educational supports. Our grants awaiting notification, we have the same four from last month, along with one new one, the Texas Workforce Commission that was submitted. We still have not heard on that as well. Our applications in progress, we've got 2 going now for the Department of Ed for the impact aid. We've got an amendment from this past school year that is due September 30th, I believe, and then we have one more. The new one where we're going to start sending out that survey form on September 13th is the planned date for that. And our applications funded, we already received the money from the Impact Aid Children with Severe Disabilities. They have notified us of that money. Also, Wells Fargo provided us with $5,000 for a college excursion for our Wynn Academy students. And then we got the fiscal year 2016 Department of Defense Education Activity Grant for $1.5 million. With that grant, we are going to be improving math in our middle schools. And also, we've got a new student ambassador program that will be coming in 2 of our high schools and then the 3 middle schools as well. And that concludes my report, unless you have any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Arnell.
Thank you.
Let's go on to item 9, consent agenda. Is there any items to be pulled? Do I need a motion?
No, we do, but I think Dr. Espinosa has one.
Yes, I do have one. President Gondara, administration would like to pull agenda item H1. H1.
To regular agenda or?
Yeah, for separate consideration.
Okay. Okay.
Motion to approve excluding item H1?
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Nakira, seconded by Mrs. Nakira. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H1, consider approval of new job description.
Good evening, President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, board members. On separate cover, you should have received the updated job description, and the job description is for marketing sales coordinator. So at this time, administration is recommending consideration and approval of the job description as presented. Ms. Macias is here with me if you have questions.
Motion has been made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mrs. Nakira. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to item number 10, new business. Consider approval of 2016-2017 district and campus improvement plan. Jeanette Williams.
Good evening, President Gondara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. As you know, annually, the board approves the district and campus improvement plans according to the Texas Education Code, Section 11.251. On Friday, you received a CD with the performance objectives for the district and the campuses. These objectives mirror the superintendent's 5 strategic goals. The performance objectives presented represent growth points that the district has set for ourselves for student academic performance. In addition, upon your approval of the objectives, the Department of State and federal programs will work continuously with the campuses throughout the year to ensure that strategies are in place and are implemented in order to meet those performance objectives. At this time, do you have any questions?
Any questions?
We are requesting that you approve the performance objectives as you receive them.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mrs. Nakira. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ms. Williams. Let's go to item B, consider approval of the 2016-17 maintenance and operations tax rates. Mr. Reza.
Yes, President Gondara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, in order to support the 2016-17 general fund budget, the administration recommends that the board approve the maintenance and operation tax rate of 0.976140 per $100 of evaluation.
Motion has been made by Mr. Guerra and seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion?
Mr. Gander?
Mr. Ayub.
Mr. Reza, I'd just like to make a comment. If this is approved here in a few minutes, this will be the 5th year you and your staff, certainly under the direction of Dr. Espinosa, have been able to keep this district budget and expenses for us to manage it within our means and not have to raise taxes. And I think that's a huge compliment on all of you for working very hard to keep it within budget and still be able to provide for our students and our employees. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do appreciate that compliment under Dr. Espinosa's direction, and it's TMS ISD. We're all working together to make sure that we keep the tax rate as level as possible.
Thank you. Well said, sir. Any more comments? Motion has been made. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good job.
Item C, consider approval of the 2016 interest and sinking fund tax rate. Mr. Reza.
Yes, Mr. Gandara, President.
It really did sound kind of good.
President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, in order to support the 2016-17 debt service budget, the administration recommends the approval of the interest and sinking fund tax rate of 2986.54 per $100 valuation. Again, 0.298654 per $100 of valuation.
Motion has been made by Mr. Guerra, seconded by Mr. Ayu.
No, Mr.
Oh, by Mr. Gonzalez. Motion has been made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Ayu. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, consider approval of resolution which officially levies the tax rate for the 2016-17 school year. Mr. Reza.
Thank you. President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, the submitted resolution, which is listed on page 104 of your booklet, officially levies the tax rate for the Socorro Independent School District for the 2016-17 school year. President Gandara, the administration requests that you read it out loud for the public before we have discussion, questions, and adoption of the document.
We're going to have Ms. Nakita read it, please.
Socorro Independent School District Resolution adopting tax rates for 2016-17. Recitals. The school district has adopted a fiscal year commencing July 1st and ending June 30th. The school district has received the certified taxable property value within the school district from the El Paso Central Appraisal District. The Board of Trustees has published the notice of public meeting to discuss the proposed budget and tax rate as required by Section 44.004 of the Texas Education Code. The Board of Trustees has conducted a public meeting on the proposed tax rate on August 16th, 2016. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Socorro Independent School District as follows. Number 2, the maintenance and operations tax rate per $100 evaluation of property in the school district for the school year 2016-2017 shall be 0.976140. Number 3, the interest and sinking tax rate per $100 evaluation of property in the school district for the school year 2016-2017 shall be 0.298654. Number 4, the total tax rate for the 2016-2017 school year shall be 1.274794. Number 5, this tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. Approved and adopted on August 16th, 2016.
Thank you. We need a motion to adopt.
Motion
this
to approve.
resolution.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mrs. Nakita. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item E, consider approval of requests to adjust compressed tax rate for additional state funding. Mr. Reza.
President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, tonight the administration is requesting your approval to request that the Texas Education Agency adjust the district's compressed tax rate for the purpose of generating additional state funding. Please note that this is not a tax swap in the traditional sense whereby a district moves pennies from the debt service side over to the maintenance and operations side, keeping the same total tax rate. The tax rate that was just adopted by the board will not change. We are requesting from the board is to request TA to move over a copper penny within the existing M&O tax rate to the compressed area for additional state fundings. Okay, so I'm going to go to this presentation slide and see if I can explain this to you. Now you have 3 columns. On the left, it shows our current situation for Socorro ISD. On the right, it shows the majority school district's present situation. And in the middle is what we're asking you to approve. Now you'll see our total tax rate hasn't changed. It's still 97 cents for M&O, 29 cents or about 30 cents for INS, a total tax rate of $1.27. What you see on the right is the majority for the school districts. Back in 2006, House Bill 1 required school districts to reduce or compress their tax rate by 67% over a 2-year period. Now, for a majority of the school districts, they went down to $1. And as you can see in the blue area, by making sure that they have that compressed tax rate of $1, a traditional school district will get a basic allotment of $5,140. Now, for Socorro ISD, our tax rate back in 2005 was $1.35. When you compressed it, it went down to 90.5 cents. And you'll see on the left-hand side, we're penalized because under the state funding formula, we got 90.5% of that 5,140. So our basic allotment is about $4,600. And so what happened last legislative session last year was House Bill 7 tried to remedy this situation. And what it's saying very simply, so you'll see like a copper line that goes across those three columns. That's our M&O tax rate. And what it's saying is that if you look at the left-hand column, there's a little sliver of copper right below that line. That is the difference between our M&O tax rate of 97 cents and the 96 cents of an M&O tax rate. This requires that you have to impose a tax rate higher than 96 cents. If it's lower than 96 cents, it won't benefit a school district. So what we're asking TA is to use this little sliver of copper. And if you move to the middle column, you'll see that that little sliver is gone. And what we'll do is by giving up that copper penny, we're going to lose about $1,064,000. However, if you go down to the bottom, you'll see that blue area, which is the basic allotment, increases. And so we get a higher amount from the basic allotment to the tune of $2.3 million. So when you net out that amount, we project that we're going to generate about $1.3 million in additional state revenue. And so we're requesting approval to go ahead and approve the document that follows this presentation. And we send it over to TA so they can make that internal change. And so that's what we're requesting for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Essa. Item F. Consider approval of local policy. Mrs. Macias.
President Gondara, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, administration recommends consideration and approval of revisions to local policy FFAC as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mrs. Nakira, seconded by Mr. Nakira. Any further discussion?
Mr. Gondara? Ms.
Mr.
Macias, I wonder if you would point out a couple of the substance comments here for the record, because obviously this will be a benefit to our students in our classroom because of the EPI and the naloxone.
Yes, correct, thank you. Currently, we just recently got the approval to provide epinephrine and naloxone to our students, and actually we had our SISD medical consultant here today providing training. So therefore, everybody in our school district, or actually all of our nurses in our school district, received training at the beginning of the year, and again, they received another training today. And what they're going to do is they're going to train their emergency teams at the campus. In case of any student or anybody visiting our campuses has anaphylactic shock or needs any type of that or any support, we will be able to administer the aid as far as our teams will.
Thank you, sir.
We do have a motion.
Yes.
The motion was by Mrs. Nakira, seconded by Mr. Nakira. For discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Macias. Item G, consider approval of request for easement at the Education Center. Mr. Ianton. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. You need another one?
We share, that's fine. No, we're good, that's fine. Which one of you did that?
Good evening, President Gondar, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. On page 114 is a little PowerPoint presentation. What I passed out, there is a couple of new slides or updated slides in that presentation that are not in your board book. But basically, what we're here tonight for is to ask the board to consider the approval to grant EP Summit, the developer that is purchasing the property and developing the property behind the Ed Center, some easements through our property and along our side. With the construction of East Lake Boulevard, the access that is closest to the, I guess, the gateway, I want to say it's the south access, it may not be, is going to be potentially a single, there's going to be a traffic light there that will basically go into the development that is going next to us right now and the development that will go behind the Ed Center. And I got some slides on that. What the developer has approached the district is that they will work with and develop these easements at no cost to the district. Mr. Blanco is aware of this. He has seen some of the stuff, but they would be working with our legal counsel and make all the modifications to our site as needed to provide them with the access to their property. This drawing is in that book. It shows that there is going to be an access to the property, what I call the south side, which I just talked about. That is basically off of our property. But the one on the north side is on our property, and they want to modify some of our parking at their expense and to shift our portables over in order to access that dark gray area in the bottom. And there is a kind of a schematic diagram of what potentially could happen there. You can see our building is that kind of the H-shaped facility, and then you see a proposed site behind it along with some development on the gateway on the east side of the expressway, and then you see the big wide area that's the area that is being developed right now. It's a situation where they would, like I said, do all the easement, no cost to the district, provide the access to the parking off of the proposed south easement, and actually we'll gain a couple more parking spaces because we're going to modify some of the areas when we access into it. They would relocate all the parking. They would relocate the portable buildings as required in order to provide that access, no cost to the district. And they would also provide us gas and that says sewer, that should be sewer easements to the facility because we're still on septic system and we're on propane over there. And they would allow us to use the parking behind the facility as additional parking. Administration recommends that we approve the proposed easement to the Ed Center off of East Lake. I do have representatives here if you have any questions of them.
Mr. Gondara.
Mr. Ayub.
Since I didn't make the facility committee, I'm not really sure. On the north side there, it looks like we're going to lose all those parking spaces that we have in the dirt over there, or gravel area. Are we going to make those up?
Those are not our, we're parking on the state property.
Oh, that dirt's not ours? Okay, let me take that comment back.
We have a kind of a gentleman agreement ever since I've been here that we can use the state property to park there.
Okay, so then where that potential driveway and easement on the north side, that's not even our property. They're going to put a road there to access potentially a hotel or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's not our property anyway.
Well, no, it's going to be on our property.
Oh, by where the portables are, on
Yes.
the backside?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, we kind of park on the north side with the new easement to the back property where they say it's a hotel site, and that's just kind of a general description. Those parkings are going to kind of flip over on the opposite side.
So
You
the
know, so-
parking area that's right up against the old Ed Center on the north side, is that going to disappear? That's
No.
going to become a driveway?
No, we'll still have parking there.
Okay.
It'll just be flopped.
And the access for that gas and sewer easements and so forth, that does require movement of the portables?
Well, the road will require the movement of the portables. The road will require that.
And they're going to do that at their expense?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions? Mr. Ianton, real quick, what are we
Yes,
gonna do with the portables? Where are we gonna move them to, or are we gonna?
No, they're just going to kind of shift over.
Shift them over?
Yeah, we are in the process of working with SPED, Special Education Department, to move some of their staff elsewhere, and we'll be presenting that at a facility committee next month. But these portables will remain there. They'll just kind of shift over.
Need a motion? Oh,
I'm sorry, another quick. So did we get a sense here, because what's gonna happen is I get a sense that this area is gonna develop further east behind what they're proposing, potentially a hotel or whatever. What's our traffic gonna be right there by the Ed Center? I mean, the old Ed Center. I just read your note here where it says that those parking spaces will be swapped to the other side of the street. So people leaving the Ed Center that parked there, they're gonna have to cross the street. And if we have a hotel there at some point, and then other businesses, is this gonna become a street problem when, at this point, we don't have that issue, the parking lot's ours?
No, actually, our employees are going to be able to go into the car before they cross that street. They back up in the street and then go out.
So is there gonna be any value to us having parking across the street? I mean, we're gonna have, apparently, if I read your notes correctly, they'll be parking across the street, but.
No, it'll be behind the portables.
Okay, I meant on the driveway area.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to those parking spaces?
Those parking spaces will still remain.
So I think, Mr. Ayub, I drove by there recently just to try and understand, but the parking spaces right now, there's no parking spaces against the building on the north side.
Okay,
They're all, you know, you basically have the drive-through area right next to the sidewalk of the building, and then you park across on the opposite end. So what's gonna happen is that they're gonna move the parking spaces so that the parking spaces are next to the building, and then the drive will be on the other side of the parking spaces. So
That
they're
is
flipping,
correct.
basically, the parking space and the driveway, or the drive-through area. Is that
yeah,
correct,
no,
Mr.
that makes sense, but.
That is
So-
correct.
So with Mr. Blanco and you, in agreement that this is an equitable exchange, us granting this driveway and easement for, you know, obviously we're gonna move some stuff, move portable. Is this an equitable exchange for the school district?
I believe it is, yes. Because that north entrance, and it doesn't show, you have a drawn in that booklet there. That north entrance that you pull in to Eastlake goes away. That's going to be a curb. So you're going to only be able to access the south entrance to go south.
Okay.
You know, or you're going to have to go up to Rojas or the next medium cut and do a U and come back down. So I think it's going to.
Governmental entities, I don't have a big problem with this, we work with it. There's a commercial venture, and certainly want to make sure we don't have a gift of public funds or that, you know, we're endorsing or assisting a commercial venture.
Yeah.
If you don't think we are, it's an equitable arrangement, and I get the sense that it is, then I wouldn't have an objection to it.
Yeah.
We're good? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gandara.
Second.
motion has been made by Mr. Guerra, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, discussion and possible action regarding utilization of Region 19 Purchasing Cooperative Contract 14-7072 to Jordan Foster Contract, Construction. Mr. Ianton.
Yes, members of the board, if you recall, a few months ago, we asked permission to solicit for proposals to do the replastering of the pool back in, I think it was March or something like that. And we've been working with companies to get proposals and bids and stuff. It's kind of a unique situation that there's not a lot of companies in this area that do the replastering. So we went to the region, and CF Jordan Foster is a part of that Region 19 bid, and they will be contracting this work and subbing a lot of the work out. We've also included in this proposal the modifications and the repairs to the two stair towers, which we have the big slides to it. There are two options in the proposal. One is to do the stairs, option one, and to replaster the pools. We could start on the replastering of the exterior pool immediately, and then we would schedule the interior pools after the swim season, which kind of ends sometime in January, February. The second option is to do the stairs and the replastering, but it also includes to replace the little play structure that is in the shallow portion of the pool as part of that option. The pool is approaching 20-plus years. There hasn't been really too much work done on the facility. Some of the pipe and the stuff has corroded some, and we feel like that by approving either option one or two, we would continue to utilize the facility, and we do have some other proposed work to be done to that facility under some other additional committed funds. However, we only had about $500,000 in the first phase of it for the pool slides and the replastering, which basically covers option one. If we were to do the option two and include the little play structure, it will be a newer, naturally, it would be a newer structure. It would probably be of a different type of material other than the steel pipe and galvanized pipes that have corroded. And then we'd also look at the pump system that supplies the water, so it would be a up-to-date new structure. However, that's a little bit more expensive, and we would need some additional funding for that. We kind of discussed this at Finance Committee meeting last night. We did not go into a deep discussion on this in our facility committee because we didn't have all the numbers together. And but we did have the authorization to go find a number. So it's between options one and two.
Pardon me, motion to approve item H, option 2.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Abe, second by Mr. Nájera. Any further discussion?
Mr. Gandara?
Mr. Nájera.
Mr. Arrington, I think one of the things that I'm very proud of as far as our school district goes is that we've been very careful in maintaining all our facilities so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where, we have huge investments to make and there's really nothing to show for it because it's all updates, to existing buildings. So I, certainly applaud and appreciate your team. We are very careful and continuously maintain our buildings. I think, the pool is certainly one of the areas that has been a challenge for us, and that's why I certainly agree with Mr. Ayub that while it is an investment, our students enjoy the facility, get the benefit from it. I drive by it frequently during the day and have even been there myself a couple of times when they're using the facility for exercise, for educational type facility. So it's not just a pool that the school district has that the public enjoys and generates revenue for the district. There is instructional purpose. So I'm glad to see that we're taking this particular opportunity to shore up the facility and make sure that we do it right. So just thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? We still have our motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to item 11, executive session. This meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding status of the proposal to terminate the term contract of AO from SPC Rafael Hernando School for good cause. Recommendation of Administration to propose termination of probational contract of RH from Paso del Norte School and SR from Montwood High School for good cause, to discuss personal and real estate matters, and to consider administrative recommendation for assistant principals at Eastlake High School and Salvador Sanchez Middle School, instructional officer for secondary social studies, and coordinator of administrative advanced academics under Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. The time is 7:12. I really want to pick on him. Call this meeting back to order at 7:52. Item A, this is discussion and possible action regarding the proposal of termination of term contract of AO from SPC Rafael Hernando School for good cause. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Gondra, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. At a special board meeting about a month and a half ago, we went over the AO Segueda matter at SPC Rafael Hernando School, and the board at that time voted to issue notice to propose the termination of his term contract for good cause. That notice was issued to Mr. Osegueda on July 14, 2016, and we know he received it because I was contacted by an attorney who was considering representing him. They had a deadline to file an appeal. The time for them to file an appeal and request a hearing through the TEA process has passed. And so with no request for a hearing and no appeal being filed, the board is now in a position where we're recommending that you take final action on the proposal to terminate. So we would request that you approve the termination of the term contract of A. Osegueda from SPC Rafael Hernando School for good cause.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Nakira, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, decision and possible action regarding the recommendation of administration to propose termination of probational contract of RH from Paso del Norte School for good cause. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you again, Board President Gondra, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. Tonight, in closed session, we went over the background facts regarding this individual teacher who is on a probationary contract, and based on the information and the investigation conducted by the administration, we are recommending that you accept the proposal to terminate the probationary contract of RH from Paso del Norte School for good cause and authorize the administration to issue appropriate notice to the teacher.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, decision.
We can pull item C. There's no action required on this.
Pulling item C. Let's go to item D, consider approval of administrative recommendations. Item 1, assistant principals, Eastlake High School. Dr. Espinosa.
Yes, President Gondara, members of the board, at this time, administration is pulling Eastlake High School principalship,
Okay.
assistant principalship.
Okay, let's go to item B, Salvador H. Sanchez Middle School.
Yes, President Gondara, members of the board, at this time, administration recommends Ms. Melissa Martinez to assume all the roles and responsibilities as assistant principal of Sanchez Middle School.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Ayub. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, instructional officer for secondary social studies.
Yes, President Gondara, members of the board, at this time, administration is pulling this item from the agenda.
Okay, let's go to item number 3, coordinator of advanced academics.
Yes, President Gondara, members of the board, at this time, administration recommends Nancy Torres to assume all the roles and the responsibilities as coordinator of advanced academics.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Nakira, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There be no more items on the agenda for this board. This meeting is closed at 7:55.
Now that the staff is
Thank you.
back.
Thank you.